Other interesting business news: you have Chrysler stopping their EV SUV development, making all 18 prospective clients very, very sad. They'll probably buy literally any other brand that has an EV SUV, and they'll probably be just fine because they won't have to worry about bankruptcy or insolvency, unlike Chrysler, which has gone bankrupt multiple times, and they've been bought out multiple times. I don't know if there's any demand for me to do a book of the month, though I do read a book of the month. We're currently reading Iacocca, who famously turned around Chrysler the first time. It's been that company's been in turmoil for what is it, half a century plus. It's sad how much Mr. Chrysler's brand is, I mean, companies kind of just failed time and time again. And famously, when they went bankrupt in 2009, they sold out to Fiat, a European company, which again was bought by someone else and rebranded. Now it's known as Stellantis, which is the new parent company of Chrysler, Dodge, and Jeep, which used to be American brands, and still have a cult following for the Jeep. I'll give them respect there. And now they're starting to realize we needed to maybe consolidate our brands or resources, and I don't know how many people want this to begin with. Now this comes with this thanks to Nico. Now Nico says, quote, Chrysler halts electric SUV development, tells suppliers to stop spending. In leaked notices to suppliers, Chrysler said it's putting development of its Airflow SUV on hold. It's not clear if it'll restart, if ever, which I venture to say probably never. Because if you buy an electric SUV, probably gonna get a Tesla. Maybe you'll buy, was it the Rivian or something else? But again, when people think quality, unfortunately not anymore. I mean, even in the 70s and 90s, people thought Chrysler quality was always third to Ford and General Motors. But I mean, when it comes to EVs, especially, would you want to go with Chrysler? Or again, they have, I believe, 17 brands of Stellantis' portfolio. I can't but think they'll probably have to kill some of these brands like Chrysler to just keep the company afloat. Now, that being said, it looks like a bland, boring EV SUV like they all do, really. It looks like perhaps a bastardized Fiat, which also recently went bankrupt. Now they say, quote, remember the Chrysler Airflow electronic crossover concept from a few years ago? It's okay, I forgot too. Yeah, no one remembers that. It's a bummer that Chrysler began so quiet about the Airflow because it could have acted as the brand's EV flagship. No, it couldn't. They say during its transition from the minivan maker to the aspirational brand. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Some extremely talented marketing people, engineering resources and leaders can turn darn near any brand around. Now, the issue with Chrysler is I don't know anyone in my lifetime who's ever aspired to own a Chrysler vehicle, and I don't know what you would need to do to make that radically different. I will delineate that some people do aspire to own like a cool Dodge, get a nice Dodge Viper, which is a naturally aspirated V10 with a stick shift. Only I love that purist mindset. I know people that aspire to that, but in terms of a Chrysler specific, most people think of the Pacifica, which is the minivan, or the Dodge Grand Caravan, which same thing with different logos and badges taped to it. I don't know anyone who in my lifetime, I think the Chrysler 200 was a success in terms of a massive volume of units sold, but no one's ever aspired to own a Chrysler in the past half a century, I believe. So it would take a lot of marketing, a lot of engineering, a lot of increased quality to have someone say, I really want to, I want to own a Chrysler, not I have to own a Chrysler or I couldn't afford something better. Now, they say, unfortunately, things are looking even worse for the stylish concept today. First reported by Mopar insiders, Chrysler has now confirmed that the Airflow has been shelved for the time being. Now, a brand representative said, quote, Chrysler brand CEO Chris Fudell, they have he exists? Is he just inebriated 24/7? Or is he on vacation in like the Bahamas? I know they had a brand ambassador because again, they barely have a brand. Just go to Chrysler.com. They make one vehicle now, which is their rudimentary, minivan, which used to sell like hotcakes back in the day. I mean, shoot, my parents had a Dodge Grand Caravan, which I would argue is 100% good for the environment because after a couple of years, it turned to rust and disintegrated into the ground, as many of those vehicles did. But yeah, since then, I don't know many people have bought a Chrysler, and yet they have a brand ambassador. So he's not doing a very good job because most people forgot about the brand or don't really have favorable memories of it. But apparently he exists. Probably overpaid, but he says, quote, Chrysler brand CEO Chris Fudell confirms the program is paused for now as we assess the market and the customer's needs and wants, unquote. Yeah, partially because one of the biggest decreasing interests in the market right now is EVs. The adoption rate, rather, is decreasing. There's more EV sales, but they are slowly but surely decreasing that rate of adoption. One of the biggest growing categories in the US are hybrid vehicles. Not that I'm a fan, but that's where the consumer segment is growing the most in terms of the adoption rate for new vehicles. Yet again, Toyota, reading the room right, investing more into hybrid technologies the past 2 years than pretty much all the other companies combined. Now, he continues to say, quote, or sorry, she continues to say, quote, she added that Chrysler's brand celebrates its 100th anniversary over the summer, which is quite sad because, again, it used to be worth something. They're going to refresh the Chrysler Pacifica coming in 2026, a new crossover coming soon after a third product inspired by the Halcyon concept to follow. Which here you can see another picture of the abomination of this concept, which again doesn't look different enough from the competition, in my opinion. Now, they say, quote, "It's just in the first setback for the airflow. In 2023, Stellantis design boss Ralph Gills told Motor Trend that the project had been restarted from a blank slate as Fudil wanted to go in a different direction. Quote, she wanted a statement that had literally zero to do with anything that you would see today, even an airflow concept car," which, epic fail. It looks like darn near every other EV just slightly changed in Photoshop. Now, they also say that, quote, "The airflow was supposed to be built on Stellantis STLA large platform, the same one that underpins the new electric Dodge Charger and Jeep Wagoneer S, under the codename C6XCA. A source close to Mopar insiders sent the site a screenshot through an email, seemingly as part of the group correspondence from Stellantis to part suppliers. They say, quote, "Dear supplier, CX8 program has been put on hold until further notice. Therefore, any spending associated with this program should be suspended immediately." Now, I'll add one more eyesore to the day and show you the rear of that vehicle, which again, Now they say, quote, "If legitimate, this email isn't quite an absolute cancellation of the project, but it's not an encouraging sign. Stellantis is in a comfortable spot right now, especially in the US, with sales flattening or dropping each year since 2021. Oh yeah, Stellantis, again, Chrysler is part of the bigger company. Overall, their sales are down around 40 to 45%, same with the profit. So it's a good time to buy one of their vehicles because they're desperate to sell them. They'll discount the crap out of them. I know one person's bought a Dodge in the past couple of years, and they got a pretty good deal. But yeah, that brand is struggling. The dealerships are irate because they can't make any money. And consumers, all 10 of them, are only moderately satisfied. So again, I'm not too surprised that they're putting this on pause. And honestly, I have no idea how they're going to reinvigorate the brand. Or, I mean, if there really is any upside left with the Chrysler brand specifically. The crossover might do good if it's a hybrid or an ICE engine. Because again, I mean, minivans is where there's bread and butter, but we've seen that kind of move away past couple years in terms of consumer preferences. But I mean, even then, what would you rather have? And granted, it's a minivan. No one would probably want that except a parent. But what would you rather have for your family? Let's see. A Honda Odyssey, which incidentally enough has nothing to do with Homer's Odyssey or the Iliad. But, they have a Honda Odyssey, which should come with that free book, but I partially digress. You also have, the Toyota Sierra? Nothing to do with Sierra Mist. No free soda when you buy it. Another lost marketing opportunity. I have no idea who's in charge of the marketing department over there. But would you rather have one of those two minivans or a Chrysler van? Which one's more reliable? Probably, yeah, literally no one on the planet would say Chrysler. I mean, the Toyotas are so reliable, you see paint crews using them instead of like a dedicated commercial vehicle because they're darn near bulletproof. So they're going to put this vehicle on pause. But I think the summer is just going to be a sad reminder of, oh yeah, the company's, I mean, you could argue it's technically not really around because it's sold multiple times. It's really, all the executive decisions were mostly overseas. But yeah, I'm not surprised they put this on a pause, and Lord only knows what they're going to do to try to turn that company around. And let me know your thoughts. Do you know anyone in the past 5 years who's ever bought a Chrysler product? We'll even expand it to the Stellantis group, which should help because everyone buys a truck every once in a while and they'll buy a Dodge. And then I know one person got a Dodge SUV, partially because they got it for 10 grand off sticker. But that's a pretty small sample size. But let me know in the comments because, as always, be best in here what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, trying to get at 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you can click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.